Welcome to another episode of Chicken and the Dog. I am the dog, and with me, as always, is the guy that has mastered the art of clogging the chicken. What up, dog?
Yeah, clogging. That's me all day long.
Yeah. So, look, man, here we go with our future show going into week 2. So, this is going to be the show where we talk about the different the upcoming games in the SEC. There's only a couple in the top 25 non-SEC that we're going to talk. It's only worthy of talking about. But look, that's how it normally is. Week 1, 2, and 3. You've got those chump teams. The meat is coming, not only for the SEC but for the rest of college football. That meat is on its way. It just isn't here yet. But before we do, there's a couple things that popped up that I think we need to talk about. One of them is, hang on, let me pull this thing up really fast. All right, so the college athletes are suing the NCAA to extend eligibility to 5 seasons. So, in other words, they want to play as many years as Stetson Bennett.
They want to extend COVID rules essentially so that they can have more and more super seniors. Where's this lawsuit coming out of?
Vanderbilt.
There you go. We want Diego around forever. Why? Because when he's gone, you ain't getting another good quarterback. It's back to the bottom of the pack in the SEC for the Commodores.
Yeah, that's not good at all. And I mean, you know what it is? I mean, at the end of the day, it's because these players are getting paid money. Now, they may not be making a ton. You know, you got some of these players that are not going to be able to go to the NFL, but they're still getting paid something, maybe more than what they would make outside of college with a regular job selling it, like you like to say, selling insurance all the time. But I don't know, man. I don't like it at all. I think it's becoming, we say all the time, like a junior NFL, and I don't like it at all.
Well, some of these guys are making more money as a college, even guys that are gonna go pro. Some of them are making more money in college than they will make on their rookie deal in the NFL with NIL money. And so when you've got that, so they want to stay around a little bit longer to make as much bank as they can. And then on top of that, you've got the guys that clearly know this is it, right? They're going to play college ball, live that dream, or at
Yeah,
least the dream that we would have had at that age. Man, I could play college ball at the highest level in the SEC. Wow. But now, no, they want to get paid. They want to get paid a lot, and they want to get paid as much as they can for as long as they can. It's ridiculous.
I
Go
think
away.
yeah, go away, go sell insurance, work at PetSmart, whatever you feel like. I don't care. Just allow the next man, because I mean they're already cracking down on how many people they're going to allow on on a team. I don't think it's going to get crazy like the NFL down to like 45 people or whatever, 53 man or whatever that is. It's not going to go that low. However, and what you're going to do is you're going to have these people hanging around, and you're going to have talent that you're going to have the Stetson Bennett's of the world that just aren't going to have their shot, right? Stetson Bennett didn't have a shot to play, coming out of high school. Nobody thought he was going to be what he ended up being. And so we don't want to miss out on the opportunity. Fans, college football fans, whether it's in the SEC, whether it's the Big Ten, whatever, we don't want to miss out on the opportunity to see some of these players like that because folks want to hang out for 7 or 8, 9, 10 years playing college football. I think it's ridiculous.
It is, and you've got to, at some point, you have to move on. And I'll give you a great example. It's interesting that this story came up to us today. I found out yesterday that Debo Williams, who was a great linebacker for South Carolina over the last few years, tried to go pro, didn't make a roster. Didn't get picked in the draft, didn't make a roster anywhere. I'm sure it has something to do with the measurables that they use. He's a little bit undersized, but he's moved on and he's created his own app out there now. He's an entrepreneur starting up this business. Man, take the gifts that the good Lord gave you, aside from hitting people real hard or running real fast, and do something with that. When your time for playing this great game is over, accept it and use your talents for something else.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Look, man, kind of on a lighter note, there is, I think, a couple things that, well, I'm not going to say a lighter note because that's probably the wrong terminology, which I do that quite often. But on a more serious note, man, I mean, I know we talk a lot about and have pick a lot of on this thing, these players that want to play forever, and we pick on a lot of people that make comments and so forth and so on. But I think it's fitting that we need to honor a couple people right now and let them know that the chicken and the dog are praying for you. Ethan Pritchard, a true freshman out of Florida State, was shot in the back of the head. I think it was Sunday or Monday or something. He was coming back from a family event, taking his aunt to someone's house, and it was just I'm not gonna say it was a freak thing. It's just like you said, Mingo, as you were talking about, wrong place, wrong time. And so our hearts, our prayers, and we go out to this young man.
Absolutely. Very glad to hear that he's in stable condition right now down in the hospital there in Tallahassee, and just continued prayers for his healing and recovery there, and hope the best for him, his family, and the Seminole Nation.
Yeah, I don't think they're not saying they're saying he's in stable condition, but what they're not saying is what's going to be the long term effects. I'm sure we'll know about that in the very near future. And speaking of another cool story, and it's kind of fitting, man. It really is kind of fitting for where this young man goes to school. But an Army football player by the name of Larry Pickett Jr. and his dad rescued someone, I think, out of a burning car or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, it flashed across the news the other day, and here's another thing to remember when we're talking about the character of these guys. Don't forget that Army just got upset by Tarleton State, and they had. I was talking with an officiating buddy of mine. They had opportunities to win that game, and just drop the ball. And how easy would it have been for a young man to be kind of down on himself over the weekend, losing a game, had the opportunities to win it, fell through, and then, hey, what's that going on over there? But instead, they see a need, they respond like lightning and go over and help this motorist. I think the guy had hit a pole or something, but his car's starting to catch fire, and Pickett Jr. and his dad rush over there and help this guy out to safety, putting others above self. That's a heck of a thing for a young man.
Yeah, and I mean, and look, man, we need more of that in this world. I think social media and the dog barks it's kind of shed a lot of light on what people do behind social media. But we need more of stuff like that in this world, man. More people doing great acts of service, because that's what it's all about, man. It's about being the good person. And hats off to this guy. I mean, we were already fans of Army just because we're pro military and so forth and so on. But now we're really fans of this young man and his dad. And good job, guys. Maybe that's an example that we can all look up to and model for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Speaking of dog bark, I'm only going to talk about one, because we got a pretty full show. Our last show ran really long, and I'm trying to keep keep this down. But okay, so there was a guy by the name, and I'm going back and I'm talking about the TikTok video that when we were talking about the LSU and Syracuse game. This guy named Andy Quist.
You mean Tennessee and Syracuse?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. So LSU has not played them.
Hey, hang on a minute. Let me get this right because I'm old and it's been a long week already. But it was the Clemson at LSU game. Let me make sure I get that right. I had one of the teams right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But this guy named Andy Quist, KW, says, why does Carolina guy sound like Trump?
Wow. Well, first, you've made a huge mistake. I'm not Carolina guy. I'm the chicken, Andy.
Yes.
So let's get that part right. And I don't know, maybe it has something to do with immense success or making things great. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, well, that's what our one of our continuous commenters, Crypt, came to your rescue.
My man.
We love Crypt.
Love Crypt. Love Crypt Bigly.
Yeah,
Bigly. Love it Bigly.
bigly. But Crypt came back and said, "Sign of great success, maybe?" Question mark. I like
Could
that.
be.
It
Could
could be.
be.
And then this other guy, or I'm assuming it's a guy. It's B Ward, sent an emoji or a not an emoji. What do you call the
GIF.
image? A GIF. Yeah, those things. Whatever. You can tell I'm old, and anyway. And it's funny, man. It says it was a referee throwing a flag, and it says personal foul on a play, unnecessary Trump reference.
First of all, there's no such thing as an unnecessary Trump reference. We can make them all day long. I
Oh yeah,
personally love Trump references, and you can go either way with that. But yeah, bring it on. You compare us to whatever you want. I guarantee you will have a response.
for sure. We that response is always going to come at full force, and better hang on. This one, I think we were pretty light on it. Hey, I thought it was funny, so we were kind of lighthearted about this. But if you're going to bring something harsh, you better bring what?
Better bring the meat.
Better bring the meat, Jack. So look, man, before we dive into the SEC, let's talk about a few games in the top 25, right? So there's not a whole lot. I mean, like I said, there's only a few that's worth talking about. And the first one is number 11, the Fighting Curtises take on Duke in Durham, North Carolina. Illinois is favored by 2.5 points. This should be a really, really good game.
It could be. I am tickled by this matchup for a couple of different reasons. First of all, Illinois ranked number 11. Duke is unranked. It is in Durham, North Carolina, and Illinois, the number 11 team in the nation, is only favored by 2.5 over the Blue Devils right now. An unranked Blue Devil football team. Now, they do have Mensa at quarterback for the Blue Devils, who threw for 389 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. But what intrigues me most about this, in the latest rankings that came out, the South Carolina Gamecocks jumped the Illinois Fighting Illini, Curtis, in the rankings. Carolina's ranked number 10 in the AP poll. Illinois ranked number 11. So what kind of angst are they going to want to take out against the Blue Devils? And is Mensa ready to just throw all over them anyway?
Yeah, I was going to get into the new top 25 in a few minutes after we went through these top 25 games that are non-SEC before we go into the SEC schedule. But yeah, you're right. Carolina jumped the old Fighting Curtises. Wow.
You in the dust again, Curtis.
But as it stands right now, Chicken, I hate to say this, and I love you, but I would still say the Fighting Curtises have the last laugh as of now.
Don't talk to me about yesterday. Let's talk about today.
Here we go. We are not going to live in the past, guys.
We don't live in the past.
All right. So the next game, I thought it was a pretty interesting game. It's the battle of the Iowas. Iowa, which is 1-0, is taken on a number 16, 2-0 Iowa State. In Iowa. Imagine that. Iowa State is favored to win that game by 3.5 points, over and under 41.5. I mean, I'm surprised that Iowa's not ranked. They usually are at the bottom of the top 25 every year, just because the Big Ten likes to say, "Oh, we've got more we've got more teams than just 3. We've got Iowa," but they're not this year, and that's surprising. I think Iowa is going to win that game.
I think Iowa's going to have a good season. I don't think that you're going to see that on Saturday. Iowa State's only favored by 3.5. You get 3 for being at home. So right now the odds have it as a close game, but I think Iowa State pulls out of this one with the win. I think it's probably going to be close, a field goal, a touchdown, somewhere in there. But I like Iowa State in this one.
Okay, we are different. Here's the next game I want to talk about. And the reason a lot of people are going to say, well, that's not a big game. Why are you talking about that? Shut up, chicken and dog. But there's a point to this. Baylor, 0-1 Baylor is taking on number 17 SMU in Dallas. SMU is only favored to win that game by 2.5 points. You've got Big 12 versus the ACC. The reason I like this game, and I was telling you this a little while ago, man, and I'll share with the audience, is this may give us as SEC fans kind of a clear picture on how good Auburn might be this year, because Auburn just beat Baylor.
Mhm.
And so I'm wondering, does SMU go in and throttle Baylor, or does Baylor bounce back and win against SMU and plays a really good game? And then we might think, okay, man, Auburn might be for real this year. They may actually have something. I don't know. We'll see. I like Baylor in this game. Let me just say that.
I like Baylor in this game. Robertson's coming off of that loss to Auburn, but he threw for 419 yards and 3 touchdowns in that loss for Baylor. So I look to Baylor to come out on top.
Okay, so now let's talk about the top 25, the new AP poll. And we're not going to go through the whole thing. I just want to hit the highlights. Ohio State moved to number 1, shocker. Penn State at number 2, still no shock. It's still not shocking at all. They moved LSU all the way up to number 3. That was kind of a bold move for me. I think Georgia moved up 1 to number 4. Miami moved 5 spots up to number 5, so that's pretty killer. Texas only dropped to number 7, and I think that might, as it stands right now. Remember, they only lost to Ohio State by a touchdown. It was 14-7 for crying out loud. So
Right.
I'm okay with that. They only moved Clemson down 4 spots to number 8. I'm good with that too. I think Clemson played a great game, a great game. You and I talked about that we thought that Clemson fans shouldn't worry about what their season is going to look like. The LSU and Clemson could potentially face off again in the playoffs. Who knows? Notre Dame dropped to number 9. They didn't drop Notre Dame. That's not, or that much, just 3 spots. That's not shocking. And your Carolina jumped up 3 spots to number 10. So you guys are in the top 10. I like it.
Yeah, I think that's a good move when you look at who we played and really took care of it. We held them to keep them out of the end zone with Virginia Tech. They got points on the board, but none of that came from them crossing the goal line with the ball. So a great defensive effort for the Gamecocks. Obviously, the offense was able to put points on the board when it mattered most. And so, yeah, I like the move for the Gamecocks to bump up in the top 10. They just have to stay there now.
Yeah. Look, and there was one team that we left off that I have not mentioned yet, and that was the Alabama Crimson Tide. What did they do? What happened with them? And they dropped 13 spots all the way down to number 21. Now, I wish Senior Chief was on here because I would like to ask him, and he may know. And if Bryson was on there, he could probably do his magic and let us know. But when is the last time Alabama has been anything less than top 20? It's probably
That's
been a minute.
As I say, that's pre-Saban era for sure. You know what? I don't mean to take joy in other people's sorrow
No.
all the time. Definitely not right now. But one of the things that I found interesting was after the loss to Florida State, the comments that we saw. Well, they're the, I don't know what, 11th team to take down the goalpost after beating Alabama. Okay,
Yeah.
well, nobody's arguing that it doesn't mean something to beat Alabama, but Alabama fan, you lost. Like that's why they took down the goalpost. It wasn't just to celebrate a victory for themselves, but you lost. You had to lose for that to happen. So There's a lot of questions in Tuscaloosa right now, some of which will hopefully be put to rest this next weekend. But definitely some things to look at. One of the biggest issues was effort, and we talked about that. The effort from the players, and that comes down from the top. If you're not getting effort out of guys, that's a coaching issue. So look to have some of that stuff addressed. If not here in the next couple weeks, definitely this season.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of Florida State, they did find their way in the top 25, which I think that's probably very fitting, but they jumped all the way to 14, not ranked to number 14. So, and look, at the end of the day, this AP poll, top 25, who cares?
Well,
After week one, who cares?
I know that it does have a level of influence when the playoff polls start coming out. The AP does factor into that to some degree. What magnitude, I don't know. But right now, here's the biggest thing, because I personally don't like the jump from unranked Florida State to number 15 Florida State. I think that's too dramatic. Yes, you beat a then ranked 8 Alabama, but to see them fall as low as they did reflects what now the writers think about. Oh, well, maybe it's not still, golden paved streets in Tuscaloosa. We don't have the Wizard of Oz here anymore. So if you're going to knock them down that low, then by the corresponding side of that logic, you couldn't elevate Florida State that high. But whatever, it's early. It's week one results. It's the poll to reflect that. A lot can change. And that's why I made the comment about Carolina a minute ago. Let's hope that they can stay there at number 10. Florida State, you're in at number 15 now. You got to hold that spot or go up. You definitely, because you could fall just as quickly, Seminole, depending on what happens next.
For
I don't think it'll happen against East Texas A&M, but you could still see trouble ahead, and Alabama could see golden skies ahead as well.
Yeah, for sure. So look, man, let's jump into these SEC games this weekend, and there's some decent ones, I think. That's not too terribly boring. And I'll start with Georgia. They open up, or they play with Austin P in Athens, and that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, we've seen this movie. There's no published line on this game because they will destroy them.
Yeah.
Enjoy your nap at 3:30 because it'll be more entertaining likely than the Georgia Austin P game.
The good thing is Austin P is one.
Well, there's that.
Yeah. Next, man, Texas goes back home to Austin, and they host the San Jose State. And there's actually a spread on this game. Should there be? I don't know, but there is. 36.5 points.
I think the reason that Vegas has got a spread on this is to try and inject some life back into the Arch Manning storyline. Otherwise, I don't think that there's a reason to put. And San Jose State is a D1 school.
They are.
So they do put lines on those games. But let's hope that this is truly a get right game. I think it will be. I think that maybe some of the kinks that they were able to spot in film this week for Arch can allow him to make some adjustments. I don't think that it will result in his bouncing back to this next heir apparent standard that quickly. But hopefully it's a get right game where he can kind of get back on track and kind of kick some of the cobwebs out.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope so. I mean, look, I think most of the world is pulling for the Manning kid, man. I think everybody wants Arch to do good. I mean, it's a good story, man. I mean, Peyton and Eli, for the most part, are very loved people, even outside of football now, post their NFL careers, man. They love them. People love them. They're funny and they've got a lot of character, and so the country loves the Manning family. So I think everybody's pretty much pulling for this young man. Utah State has to go to College Station and take on number 19 Texas A&M. Both of them are their 1-1 or 1-0. A&M is favored by 31.5 points. Over and under is 54.5. Yeah, I mean A&M's going to have their way. Another great warm-up game for them.
Yeah, I don't even think that you need to attend Yale practice this week. I think you're going to be just fine. The
Yeah,
Aggies will win. Now, which Aggies do I mean? The Texas A&M Aggies. I don't think that you have to worry about the Utah State Aggies.
no, I don't think so either.
Ah!
There
There
they
you
go.
go.
They're practicing.
They're practicing anyway. Who knew?
Yeah. Uh, so we'll see. This is going to be a good game. Okay, maybe not.
Is it?
I don't know. Number 20, Ole Miss. My guy, Lane Kiffin, is going to Lexington to take on the Fighting Stoops. Both of them are 1-0. Ole Miss is favored to win that game by 9.5 points. Over and under is 50.5. And I'm telling you, like, again, I am not a betting man, but I would take the spread. Ole Miss is going to crush them by more than 9.5 points.
Yeah. This is a non-SEC warm-up SEC game for Ole
Yeah,
Miss
yeah,
because you're playing an SEC team in name only with Kentucky right now. I think that they only had like three-quarters of the stadium packed out last week against Toledo. Um, yeah, Ole Miss will go in there and just absolutely run all over Kentucky. It's going to be a long afternoon for the Wildcats.
yeah. Lane's going to do what Lane does on that team with that team. There's no doubt about that. Um, Number 22, Tennessee hosts a 1-0 East Tennessee State. Knoxville, there's no line as there shouldn't be, and I still like this, man. I'm really pulling for Tennessee this season, man. I like Heupel. This is a good warm up game. They had a tougher game with Syracuse last week. This is a great warm up game. Get Joey in there working some things out, and man, we'll see.
I'm still not sold on Tennessee. I don't think that the win over Syracuse, with the fact that Syracuse is down a little bit this year, really shows me a whole lot. Uh, Joey did a great job at quarterback, no doubt. Um, I don't think you're going to see them skip a beat against East Tennessee State. I think that we had this as a win earlier when we did the forecast show for Tennessee during the offseason. But I'm not sold on the Volunteers season yet. But I do think that they come out of this one at 2-0.
Yeah, next week we'll definitely know what Tennessee and Georgia both look like after next week when they place each other
Absolutely.
in Knoxville. Woo! Uh, this next game, I think you're going to enjoy this one. A 2-0 Kansas goes to the wrong Columbia. They go to Columbia, Missouri, and take on a 1-0 Missouri Tigers, the evil one. Mizzou is favored by 6.5 points. I like Kansas in this game.
I do too. I know that Mizzou put up basketball scores last week. In the event of a football game. But what I was unimpressed with was the performance of their offensive line. Um, I think now, and I don't know the strength of Kansas's defensive front, but you're definitely facing a better opponent than you did last week. Rock Shock Jayhawk. I think Daniels put up 456 yards and 7 touchdowns last week for Kansas. I think that they're just going to be more than Missouri can handle. I don't think Missouri's going to have, and we've said this. I don't think they're going to have near the year that they had last year. And I think this is going to be the first uh, ding in that armor against Kansas.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. This next game, number 13 Florida host South Florida, who is 1-0 in Gainesville. Florida is favored to win that game by 17.5 points. I think Florida wins this game, but I don't like that spread. I think that spread can be closer.
Think I go opposite you on the spread. I think the Gators are going to win this game. I think South Florida. I don't think South Florida is a team that you can ignore. I mean, look what they did to Boise State last week,
Yup.
right? With that upset. However, I think the Bulls come in probably a little overcharged from that victory. And I think that Florida easily wins this ball game. I think that you're looking at probably 21 points.
Really? You think it's going to be that? Wow. Okay. Um, you and I are going to differ on that one. All right. So the next one is our guys, the Fighting Pittmans, are hosting Arkansas State. Arkansas in Little Rock, Arkansas. Arkansas is favored to win that game by 23.5 points. I think Green has his way. It's another great warm up game for Green, and Arkansas rolls away with this game pretty easily.
Completely agree. Fighting Pittman's all the way.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead. We'll go ahead and talk about that. South Carolina State goes to the real Columbia, South Kakalaki,
That's right.
William Bryce Stadium. Both of them are 1-0. There is no line on that game. I mean, another great warm up game for Lenora Sellers. He had a great game against Virginia Tech. Hey, man, he was, and you're not gonna like this. But somebody, I can't remember the guy's name, I read it earlier, is compared him to kind of like a Cam Newton type player. That's not a bad comparison.
No, and I don't like Cam Newton. I didn't like him as a player. I certainly don't care anything about him now with whatever all he's doing. But the their playing style is similar
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Their talent, their skills are similar for sure. Even Lenora Sellers uh, will tell you that he modeled his game, or he models his game after Cam Newton. Now, keep in mind when Cam was playing the NFL, that's when little Lenoris was growing up and
Yeah.
falling in love with the game of football. The biggest and most important difference to me, and this will tell you why I'm not a big fan of Cam Newton. Lenora Sellers is still team first. Cam
Yep.
Newton was and is Cam Newton first. And
Yeah.
that's my biggest issue with that guy. I'm just like, you know what? You sicken me. The whole, no matter what he did, I don't care if he picked up a third and inches or a third and 15 touchdown. It was the whole boom Superman thing. Like, shut up, do your job. For
Yeah.
the love of God, you're in the pros, and you're in the pros because you've likely scored before. You've likely gotten a first down before, but every time he did anything, it was, look at me, look at me. Go away. Go away.
That's right. And I believe it was Cam that said when he's coming out of college, he made the statement, not only do I want to be a football player, I want to be an entertainer and an icon.
Depends on your definition of icon. If there's a bad icon, you got that, big guy. If there's an entertainer aspect to you, I don't see it. I'm not remotely entertained by Cam Newton.
No.
Um, and yeah, whatever. Again, I don't. There, you can't deny what his ability was on the football field, and
Yeah.
an NFL MVP shows that. Lenoris has all of those same skill set, same tools.
Oh, for
He
sure.
just, in my opinion, uses them for the betterment of the team, not for the betterment of himself.
Yeah. All right. So this is next. Number 3, LSU takes on Louisiana Tech. We're gonna call those the Fighting Phils.
There you go.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, man. But it takes on them in Baton Rouge. LSU's favored to win that game 37.5 over under 51.5. Yeah, LSU's just another good game for Nussmeier to work out anything else. Great game.
It'll be a great game. This spread, I think that they'll cover. LSU is just a much more complete team this year on both sides of the ball than they were last year.
They're good, man. There's no doubt about that. A number 12, Arizona State goes to Starkville, Mississippi, and plays a 1-0 Mississippi State. Arizona State is favored to win that game by 6.5. I have a soft spot for Mississippi State because everything that they have, but I'm still going to go with Arizona State is going to win that game. That quarterback for Arizona State might be the difference maker.
Yeah, I agree completely, and yeah, this is loss number one for the Bulldogs of Starkville this year.
Yeah. All right. So Ball State goes to Jordan Hare Stadium. Auburn, Alabama, the lower A on the plains. Auburn's favored to win that game by 43 and a half, 52 and a half over and under. Jackson Arnold has his way.
Jackson Arnold has his way. I don't know when the last time was that Auburn scored that many points in a football game, so I'm going to go under on that spread. But I think that Auburn wins it convincingly.
Yeah. Um, this next game, I mean, I think it's a man. What a great game, man! A 1-0 Vanderbilt heads to Blacksburg, Virginia. Sorry, and takes on an 0-1 Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is favored to win that game by 1.5 points. I like Virginia Tech in this game. I'm just saying.
Virginia Tech in this game. Their quarterback is a solid player. Again, we mentioned earlier that Carolina's defense was able to keep the Hokies out of the end zone for 4 quarters last week. I don't know much about Vandy's defense and how they performed in their first game, but the fact that this is in Blacksburg, and the fact that I think Virginia Tech is going to be looking to get back. Vanderbilt is nowhere near as strong a team as South Carolina is this year. I got the Hokies in this.
And I'm going to have to play this sound bite right before we talk about this next game.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
Taking on Louisiana Monroe.
Right.
So I am saying there's a chance.
Right.
Number 21, Alabama is hosting University of Louisiana Monroe. That is 1-0 in Tuscaloosa. Alabama is favored to win that game by 36.5 points, over and under 50.5. I mean, Alabama's going to win that. They're going to win the game. There's no doubt about that. However, is it 36.5? Does Ty Simpson have the capability of overcoming what happened and find his rhythm? I don't know. We'll see. But they better cover that spread or DeBoer. Everybody's going to be knocking on DeBoer's door going, man, what are you doing?
So UL Monroe, I believe, is the Warhawks. It is the alma mater for Big Boss Willie Robertson of the Duck Dynasty clan. I think that this ends up being the second loss for the Robertsons this weekend. We mentioned Louisiana Tech going down. I think UL Monroe is going to do the same. This isn't just a game that Alabama should win. This is a game that Alabama has to win. If they drop this, and I would say if they even allow this to be close, Kellen DeBoer needs to find a real estate agent because the boosters in Tuscaloosa will already be doing the math to figure out his buyout. But here's what's key for me. If he can't get these guys motivated and to where they play with a fire in their belly, then this game could be close. And if this game is close, DeBoer is on his way out. He's looking for luggage.
Absolutely. I think so as well. I mean, look, I don't want college football is better off when Alabama is relevant. There's no doubt about that. So this is not the chicken or the dog wishing bad things on the Alabama Crimson Tide program. We want them to be good. It's just that loss, that spanking that they got against Florida State. It wasn't close, man. It was a spanking. It just was not a good look, and they just got a lot of work. They just looked very off, and like you said, unmotivated, not together, and opinion falls on the coach. And if they don't have that, if that's not looking way different, even against Louisiana Monroe, you're right. I think DeBoer is done. Completely
Well,
done.
and let me say this too. We've talked a lot about DeBoer, and I still believe that Kellen DeBoer is a good coach. I really do. I don't know that it was the right job for him to take to go to Alabama, and I've said that before about other coaching vacancies and opportunities for other guys that especially with the Saban thing. You don't want to be the next guy. You want to be the guy after that guy.
That's right. Yeah.
DeBoer is trying to follow Saban, and there's no way to follow Saban. I don't care if, and this is a little obvious now, right after their loss. I don't care if they would have brought Bill Belichick into Tuscaloosa instead of Chapel Hill to follow his good BFF Nick at Alabama. It would not have worked because you're set to a standard that is way up here with Nick Saban, and nobody else, no other coach in the country could meet that standard. Or we
None.
would have been talking about Saban but during that era, we weren't. There was no there was just Saban. And so in Tuscaloosa, there's still really just Saban. You got to get past this, Bama fan. You've got to allow this guy to move on. And if you don't, okay, fine. At least guy number 2 will always be better than DeBoer.
Yeah. I mean, Saban is just in a class on his own. He's in it. He's there by himself. I think there's opportunities for maybe years down the road for somebody to come join him and sit down next to him and go, "Hey, I'm right here with you." But right now, the Joker is by himself. That leaves us one more game to talk about, and I'm going to announce it. Then I think you've got something you want to say after that. It's a 7:30 kickoff. I think I like this game a lot. A number 15, 1-0 Michigan takes on number 18, 1-0 Oklahoma in Norman. Oklahoma is favored to win that game by 4.5 points, over and under 45.5. I really don't know. I'm going to go Oklahoma on this. I really am.
I'm going to save my pick for a few minutes because I have with me, not in paper for those of you that think I read from a script, but on a screen for those of you that think I read from a script. It is a letter from my Uncle Kenny, and this is his buzzsaw pick of the week. Good news, sports fans. Uncle Kenny is stateside again. I was flying some supplies on behalf of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations to Shan State and experienced a little engine trouble in Montgomery. I don't know. I have no idea where he is in the world half the time. I had to spend a couple of weeks evading the Three Brotherhoods Alliance. Fortunately, I have old Navy buddies doing some contract work for the Tatmadaw Military Alliance who were able to smuggle me out posing as an exotic animal dealer. I can see a world where the three-toed sloth would make charming house pets. But let's not get sidetracked. I am happy to be alive and more excited than ever to be watching another year of college football. The air smells a little sweeter this year, and the ribs taste just a little more savory. Fortunately, I made it back just in time for kickoff of the Texas-Ohio State game. As is customary, I was glued to the action from noon till midnight on the opening weekend. I jotted down some things that stuck out to me. Number 1, Arch probably isn't that guy. Arch Manning's got a last name that'll buy him steak dinners from Austin to Atlanta, but a name can't throw a football. Down in New Orleans, he carved up little private school defenses that looked like church league teams. Folks acted like he was the second coming of Uncle Peyton, but bless his heart, he hasn't shown it in burnt orange. At Texas, where the lights don't blink and the quarterback's better not either, Arch looks more like a press release than a gunslinger. He may sell jerseys, but right now he ain't selling touchdowns. There's a reason that he couldn't get on the field for the last 2 years. I wonder if Sark is looking down that bench wondering if it might be time to move on from the highest rated recruit in Texas history. To put in context how bad Arch was, consider that Texas held the Buckeyes to just over 200 yards of offense, their fewest in 10 years. Number 2, LSU has the look of a team built to run the SEC. The receivers create separation, the running game grinds out yards, and the defense is playing with purpose again. Garrett Nussmeier has stepped into the spotlight with a steady hand, showing command of the offense and enough poise to keep the Tigers balanced. It's early, but this group carries itself like the best team in the league, and right now, nobody in the SEC looks more complete. Number 3, college football isn't the same Saturday pastime it used to be. It's starting to look more and more like the NFL, and not just because the players are bigger, faster, and stronger. The money has poured in television contracts, playoff expansion, and most of all, NIL deals that make star quarterbacks millionaires before they can throw a touchdown pass. Free agency used to be a pro term, but now the transfer portal has given college athletes the same kind of mobility. A kid can pick up and leave after spring practice if the depth chart doesn't smile on him, and by all fall, he's suiting up somewhere else like a seasoned journeyman. Coaching has followed the same path with schemes and systems pulled straight from the pro playbooks. Wide open offensive, defensive substitutions by the second, and recruiting that feels like draft night drama. The line between Saturday and Sunday is thinner than it's ever been. Tradition still hangs on, bands, rivalries, and the pageantry of campus life. But the business of college football is no longer hiding. It's professional in all but name, and the scorecard tells the truth. The teams that adapt the fastest to the NFL model are the ones collecting trophies in January. Fans need to get used to the idea that 9-3 is the new 11-1. With the way people are moving and the Maslowian principles of motivation, consistency is an ideal of the past. You never know what team you will get week to week, and with 12 to 16 teams in the playoffs, a team's season is never over. So now what? After week one, week two is looking like a complete dud. I guess I could just get fired up about the Penn State Florida International game. The Nittany Lions better watch their six. I suppose I could fire up the grill and have the boys over to see recently ascended Seminoles battle it out with East Texas A&M. I'll probably just wish it was week three and watch the Kennesaw State Indiana game while wishing I was still running guns to the Contras. The best of what's around. The folks who run college football have always loved a matchup that sounds like it was drawn up in a boardroom, and Oklahoma versus Michigan is about as big and shiny as it gets. Two brands that don't need an introduction. One with a fight song you can hum in your sleep, the other with a schooner wagon that tips over more than a Baptist at a tent revival. Michigan comes in carrying all the baggage of a team trying to prove it wasn't just a one-hit wonder back in 2023. They've got a new man under center, and while he doesn't have the scars or the stats, he's being asked to keep the machine humming. Bryce Underwood is setting out to prove that $10 million was worth what some dopey alumnus paid. Traditionally, Michigan football is about pounding the line, chewing up clock, and wearing you down like a cold wind off the Great Lakes. Their quarterback's job has been simple. Don't wreck the car while the defense and the run game do the heavy lifting. That changes this year. Oklahoma, meanwhile, is rolling out its own new quarterback, and in Norman, they expect fireworks. See White, Bradford, Mayfield, and Murray. No, that's not a personal injury law firm. Mateer can't manage the game. He will be expected to sling it, stretch defenses, and remind everybody why folks once called this place quarterback U. The Sooners are banking on him to bring some swagger back, and he might just have the arm for it. And Oklahoma's favorite former assistant coach, Brent Venables, better hope that he does if he wants to keep his dream job. So here we are, Michigan, steady and stubborn versus Oklahoma, loud and fast. One side wants to win with body blows, the other with haymakers. It's a clash of styles, a clash of histories, and a reminder that college football is still capable of delivering theater on a late summer Saturday evening. Just don't be surprised if both new quarterbacks learn real quick that the bright lights don't care much about recruiting stars or spring games. Remember point three. Remember the Ohio State game from week one and the Bama game from week one. Just like the NFL, home field now means more than ever. Oklahoma's home field isn't just tough, it's nearly impenetrable. Since 1999, Oklahoma has regularly delivered blowouts at Owen Field, with an average margin of victory against visiting teams of 43-17. Even among ranked teams, the Sooners have been formidable at home, going 15-4 since Coach Brent Venables. So yeah, winning in Norman isn't easy. It's like meeting the town bully on his playground where everyone's backing him up and the scoreboard's already tilted in his favor. It's dim the lights, it's thick smoke and loud music, not to mention no one really likes to go to Oklahoma anyway. The place smells like cow pies. And the Sooners know that they better win after the dregs of the last 3 years. The Michigan Wolverines and their hood ornament looking helmets are walking directly into a buzzsaw.
Kenny. Wow.
Uncle Kenny.
Look, man, there's been a few of them that have done this, but I got goosebumps on that Uncle Kenny. I did. You goosed me up, pal. Thank you.
The old man has a way with words. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so Uncle Kenny is picking Oklahoma. There's your buzzsaw. I'm picking Oklahoma. What say you, chicken?
I like the Sooners in this matchup. I think that they trade places with Michigan. I think it's a close game, but I like Oklahoma to win by a touchdown.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's the case for a lot of reasons. One, SEC, but also, my God, I am sick and tired of hearing people say Big Ten owns college football. And if Michigan beats Oklahoma, I'm just going to have to say it. They may have the right to keep saying that. I don't like it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But they'll have some legitimate arguments on that.
I think Mateer is going to have a lot to say in this quarterback duel on Saturday. I like the Sooners in this game.
Yeah, I think so too. Look, guys, thank y'all for listening to us. Keep the comments coming. We'll spend some more time on the dog park on the next episode. We had a lot to talk about. Uncle Kenny was a little long-winded. We want to make sure we give him his due diligence. But, man, like us, follow us, share us. Look, man, seriously, go on our TikTok. Go follow us. Go on YouTube. Follow us. Like us, share us. Tell your friends about us. Tell your enemies. Just tell someone. Chicken, you got anything?
Crowed out.
All right, guys. Love you. Deuces.